Welcome to the completely free AZ-900 Azure Fundamental course. My name is Sullivan. I'm an AZ-900 certified, and I'm going to be your instructor for this completely free Azure course. We're on day 2, and we're going to be learning the benefits of using cloud services. Here's a slide of a recap of what we learned on day 1, and if something wasn't clear, you can check all the topics, you can pause the video, and if something wasn't clear, you can go back to day 1 and study what wasn't clear. The first concept we're going to learn for this AZ-900 certification will be high availability, and high availability ensures your cloud resources keep running with a minimal downtime. Even if hardware fails or an outage occurs, you want your servers to keep running all the time. There's a rule called the 99.99999%. So you want your servers to be running 99.999% all the time. You want them to be available all the time. Remember, for the test, high availability means that your servers are up and running as high as possible or without disruptions, or if something happens, every time your servers will be available. Remember, 99.9%, almost 100%, you want everything available. Scalability is the ability to adjust the size or number of cloud resources to handle changing workloads. Think about scalability as expansion or make things bigger. For your AZ-900 certification, remember that scalability is the ability to make things bigger or to be able to expand. For example, I have a server on the cloud and that server is running out of space. I can scale that server. In other words, make it bigger. I want you to know that for your AZ-900 certification, there's two types of scalability services that you're going to encounter. There's the horizontal, also known as out and in. And horizontal scalability means adding more instances of a resource. For example, we have a virtual machine that is running full capacity. We're going to add 2 virtual machines. So instead of having 1, we're going to have 2 virtual machines to make that horizontal scalability. So horizontal means adding next to it. And then we also have vertical scalability, which alters a server's physical capacity. So for example, in this case, we have a server. We're not going to create another server, but we're going to add to that server more CPU, more memory, more hard drive in order to make that server better. So horizontal, we clone the resources. For example, virtual machine, we make 2. If it's a server, we make 2 servers. Vertical, we alter whatever device we have. So we're going to add CPU, we're going to add memory, we're going to add hard drive. But these are the 2 types of scalability that we should know for your certification. Reliability is defined as a system's ability to recover from failures and keep working. Example, if for whatever reason the data center where my data is stored fails, I want them to be able to be reliable, that I can go to a different server and my data is still working. This is what reliability means. The ability to recover from failures. These are the key words: ability to recover from failures. Predictability is the ability to forecast and rely on your cloud environment's performance and future costs. Example, I have a pay-as-you-go subscription, and the predictability is that the more I use the resources that Microsoft provide, the more I'm gonna have to pay, because I have a pay-as-you-go, which the predictability is the ability to forecast and rely on your cloud environment's performance and future costs. For your AZ-900 certification, you have to have the ability to describe the benefits of security and governance in the cloud. One of the benefits is that you have cloud security, and cloud security protects your data and systems from threats. You also have cloud governance, which cloud governance ensures your resources follow your company rules and legal laws. I created this image for you to be able to understand better the key benefits for security and governance in the cloud. One of the key benefits is that you will be able to protect your data according to regulations and all the policies that Azure provides. You'll be able to follow rules. You'll be able to follow rules because The rules are already set up in a cloud environment. All you have to do is follow the rules. You can see everything. You can set up monitors, you can set up track the resources of uses, and then you can identify anomalies and risk quickly. One of the other benefits is that you'll be able to save time. You can streamline your process. You can automate security tasks if you're on the cloud. You can standardize configurations, and then you have less manual work and less human errors. Another benefit is that you can lower the risk. You can lower threats by your business. You can be proactive with threat detection. You can enforce security policies. You can do better vulnerability management. And another thing is that you can save money. You can optimize and save money. You can avoid waste from unused resources. You have the ability to control and allocate cloud spend. And then you can do a better planning and forecasting. Another important thing for your AZ-900 that you have to understand is you should be able to describe the benefits of manageability in the cloud. And manageability in the cloud refers to the easy control, monitoring, and administration of IT resources. This is how you can manage resources, how you can monitor, how you can check your stuff in the Azure cloud by having some sort of manageability. So I'm over here in the Azure portal, so you can see how manageability works, how I can manage so easy in the Azure portal stuff. So I'm under this bar and I can go over here and I can see all the stuff that the Azure portal provides: advisor, monitor, Microsoft Entra ID, resources. I can see all that stuff. But for example, let's say I want to create a new resource. I select on the create a new resource and I can select whatever resource I want to create. For example, if I want to create a virtual machine, if I want to do a key vault, which in the future I'm going to show you all of this stuff. So if I want to do a function, if I want to do whatever I can do, I can manage so easy right here with the Azure portal. Here's a quick recap of what we learned on day 2, which was describing the benefits of using cloud services. And we learned that the benefits of high availability, which means the rule of 99.99, remember that? Scalability, which means I want to be able to scale to make it bigger, expand, remember those keywords, in the cloud. And then we learned the benefits of reliability. Reliability is even if something breaks, how can I recover from that? How can I make it reliable? Predictability is how can I predict what's going to happen in the future. It's same in the cloud. We also learned to describe the benefits of security, like how security is important, how do I need to protect data, how do I need to be in compliance, how do I need to be in compliance with the governance and stuff. And then we learned the benefits of manageability in the cloud. Remember, I showed you how to navigate the Azure portal with how easy it is to manage the Azure portal with the AZ for the AZ-900 certification. So as you guys know, part of this course is to be able to do 5 to 10 practice questions at the end of every day, so you actually understand the concepts that we're doing. This is very important. So we're going to start with our 5 to 10 practice questions for your AZ-900 certification test. Question number 1. A global retailer experiences a massive surge in website traffic every year during a specific 24-hour holiday sale. Which cloud concept describes the system availability to automatically add resources to handle the peak and remove them immediately after to minimize cost? So let's check at our answers. We have scalability. Scalability, remember, is the ability to make it bigger but to not make it smaller. We have elasticity, which I don't think I cover on this day, but elasticity is the ability to make it bigger and also smaller. Bigger, smaller, which will be the correct answer, but we're going to keep reading. Reliability is like, for example, if something breaks, how I can recover it. And predictability, remember, is like something that will be predictable in the future. So the correct answer is elasticity. And let's read out the answer. And elasticity is the ability to automatically and dynamically increase or decrease resources based on real time. Like I said, if you guys know the answer, so I'm going to go through the questions. If you guys know, you can pause it and then read the question and see if you can get it right. We're going next one. So an organization wants to migrate to Azure to reduce the risk associated with hardware failures in their private data center. They require a solution where the service remains accessible even if a single rack or an entire data center facility goes offline. Which benefit are they prioritizing? So we have agility, we have governments, we have high availability, and then we have disaster recovery. Like I said, if you guys know, pause it, and then we'll see what answer it is. So let's analyze. An organization wants to migrate Azure, reduce the risk with hardware failures in their private data center. Okay, they require a solution where the servers remain accessible even if a single rack. So they want something that is high available. So they want something that if it breaks, I can recover. Remember the rule of 99.999%. So your answer, correct answer, is high availability ensures that server remain operational accessible with minimal downtime even during component or facility failures. Remember that. Question number 3. A startup needs to deploy a new application environment every week for testing. They want to ensure that each environment is configured identically using code-based templates to avoid manual setup errors. Which aspect of manageability does this represent? So we have operational expansion, which we haven't really covered. We have vertical scaling, we have management in the cloud, and then we have management in the cloud again. So we have two answers that are exactly the same thing. So we're gonna analyze the question. So a startup needs to deploy a new application environment every week for testing. Okay, they want to ensure that each environment is configured identically. Okay, using code-based templates. So vertical scaling, like I said, remember, is like adding more resources. So that wouldn't be. Operational expansion is when I want to. I haven't covered that, but it's when I want to expand my network, my thing. So we haven't covered that. So the correct answer is going to be management in the cloud. We have two correct answers right here. So it doesn't matter if you pick C or D. Both of them will be correct. So management in cloud, remember we talk about management, refers to how you manage your specific resources, such as using IaaC or infrastructure as a code to deploy identical environments. Next, question number 4. A financial service company is concerned about meeting strict data residency requirements which dictate the customer data cannot leave its country of origin. Which cloud benefits provides the tools to enforce these constraints across all Azure subscription? So here we're talking about some sort of security. In this question, we're talking about some sort of security. We're not talking about reliable, because reliable will be something that if it breaks, I can be recovered again. Scalability means the ability to make it bigger. So that's not the. So we're between security and governments. So which cloud benefit provides the tools to enforce these constraints? That will be governments, guys. Governments. Security, because we're already talking. It wouldn't be security because we're already talking about security. So it'll be making it double. If I say security, it will be like double security. So it will be repeating. So government involves using tools like Azure Policy to enforce rules, such as restricting resource deployment to specific geographic regions. Question number 5. Which cloud benefits describes the ability to deploy resources globally in minutes, allowing a company to respond quickly to market change and reduce the time to market for new features? So let's read this question because this is a tricky question. Which cloud benefits describes the ability to deploy resources globally in minutes? I want to deploy those resources in minutes, allowing a company to respond quickly to market changes and reduce the time to market for new features. So here the key answers is ability to deploy in minutes, and that's how agility, how agile I am to like do this quick. Like I want quick ability. So how agile. I don't think I covered agility, but agility is one of the concepts that can be on your AZ-900 test. So agility in the cloud is the ability to rapidly deploy, test, and launch software applications without waiting for physical hardware procurement. Next, question number 6. By moving to the cloud, a company shifts from paying for servers upfront to paying only for the resources they use each month. This change is best described as moving from. So okay, we haven't covered some of the stuff that is on this question, guys, but I'm gonna go through them so you guys can see. So by moving to the cloud, company shifts from paying for servers upfront to paying only for the resources they use each month. So this is called capex to opex. So capex is the capital expenditure, opex is the operational expenditure. I'm gonna cover this more in detail, so don't worry too much about. If you want to pause the video, read this, you can. But I'm gonna cover this on other episodes, on other days. Question number 7. An IT manager wants to ensure that the response time for a web application remains with a range of 100 meters to 200 meters, milliseconds to 200 milliseconds, regardless of whether there are 10 or 1000 concurrent benefit. Which cloud benefit focuses on this consistency of performance? We have governments. Governments, like I said, it has to do some sort of security, so we're not talking about security over here. Predictability is how predictable I can be, you know? Security and manageability. Let's read the question because this is a tricky question. An IT manager wants to ensure that the response time for a web application remains with a range of 100 regardless of whether, okay? So this sounds some sort of predictability. And predictability includes both cost of predictability in performance, predictability ensuring a consistent user and experience on their varying loads. So this was a tricky question, guys. We got it right, but it was a tricky question because predictability, remember, is like how I can predict. No matter if I have 10 or 10,000 users, I need to be able to predict what's going to happen. So we're going to go next on the next question. And then we're on question number 8. A developer needs to increase the performance of a single virtual machine by adding more CPU cores and memory to the existing instance. This is an example of which type of scaling. Remember, we talk about two types of scaling, horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Remember on the course we talk about this too. So the correct answer for this is not reliability and it's not elasticity. It'll be vertical scaling. Vertical scaling, guys. Remember, vertical scaling or scaling ups involves adding more CPU RAM to an existing resource. Horizontal, remember, is when we clone stuff. Next. Which cloud benefits allows an organization to leverage the cloud provider's massive investments in specialized hardware, expert staff, and threat intelligence to protect their application from sophisticated cyber attacks? Here we're talking about some sort of security. It's very important that you guys, when you're on your real test, read the question carefully and see what they're asking for. So they're asking to protect applications from sophisticated cyber attacks. And then especially software, that'll be some sort of security. So we're going to select security because manageability, they're not asking us to manage anything. They're not asking to agility anything or to have high availability. And then securing the cloud benefits from the provider's ability to invest into most protection individual companies they could afford. Next, last question, question number 10. A company is planning their cloud budget for the next fiscal year. They use the Azure pricing calculator to estimate their monthly costs based on the expected usage. This activity is a key component of which cloud benefit. We still haven't covered the pricing calculator, guys. We still haven't covered, so probably you guys don't know what this is, the pricing calculator. But the pricing calculator allows you to check like what do you want to buy in the future. But let's read the question and analyze it step by step. A company is planning their cloud budget for they use Azure pricing calculator to estimate their monthly cost based on it. This activity is a key component of which cloud benefit? This is a component of the cost predictability. Remember, we talk about predictability. We didn't talk about the Azure pricing calculator, but because we can see that is something in the future, we can say that is something with predictability. So cost predictability allows organization to forecast and manage their cloud spend accurately before and during deployment. Congratulations, you made it to the end of day 2. Like I said, this course is completely free for you to be able to pass your AZ-900 certification. All I ask for you is to subscribe, give a like, thumbs up, recommend this course, and see you guys on the next episode.